Encuentros Gastronómicos tiene el honor de llegar al Hotel Sofitel. Estamos en la calle de Arroyo, acá en Buenos Aires, para vivir una entrevista única. Vamos a compartir una copa de Bramare 2011 de Viña Cobos junto a su enólogo, a su winemaker, Hobbs, uno de los enólogos más reconocidos a nivel mundial. Vamos a charlar sobre su trabajo, su pasión sobre el vino, su trabajo en la viña y cómo llega este vino Malbec 2011 a esta copa. Vamos, salud. Paul, me gustaría contarle a la gente un poco tu vida. Naciste al norte de Nueva York, en una familia de granjeros, ¿sí?
Yes. Well, I come from a farming family near the Buffalo area, which is near Toronto as well, in western New York. We're a large family, finally 11 children. 11. Hay mucho. And, well, basically, my mother prohibited wine and any alcoholic beverages at the family table. But my father changed that one night with a bottle of Chateau Yquem. Basically, it was that night that changed my life because from there we began. I grew up on a fruit farm, apples and cherries, but my father wanted to plant vineyards. I began helping my father plant vineyards in New York State. And then later I met a professor at the University of Notre Dame in Indiana, and he was my botany professor, and he had worked as a former winemaker for the Christian Brothers. It's a winery in Napa Valley under Brother Timothy, and he's the one that finally convinced me that I should go to California and study wine at the University of California at Davis. So that was how it got started.
¿Cómo llegás a la Argentina y en qué año, Paul? 1988. Ok. ¿Por qué llegas a Argentina? ¿De vacaciones, por trabajo?
Well, it was by chance. I had no real direct plans to come to Argentina. I went to see Chile, and in those years, Chile was said to be the newest and most interesting wine region in the world. So I came to visit the new wineries and to taste the wines. But then a classmate friend of mine, Jorge Catena, the younger brother of Nicolas Catena, visited me in Santiago and insisted that I come to Argentina. And so finally, after 4 days, I finally decided, okay, and we drove over the Andes Mountains and arrived in Mendoza. When I came in the late 80s, and I met Nicolas Catena in Buenos Aires, and I met his winemakers. Nicolas wanted to make Chardonnay grapes. That's what he wanted. He wanted to make a Chardonnay. So Malbec wasn't on my radar until I started going to see the vineyards with Marchevsky. And then I realized this was a very interesting grape. And we began experimenting with it in the early 90s. That really exploded on the international scene in 1994, 1995.
Hubo un cambio en la cosmovisión, en la forma de trabajo y en pensar el producto de otra manera, ¿no?
Sí. Well, it was a fantastic experience. And then I got lucky. I was very fortunate because a friend of mine from one of the most important Tonnelleries in France, Siga-Moreau, sent me 10 free barrels. And I used those, and they were made of American oak, not French oak. They were American oak brought from the US to France, coopered in France, and brought to Argentina, and he gave them to me free.
Paul, en pocas y sencillas palabras, para nuestros televidentes. Fernando Vidal Bussi decía siempre que había que llegar con el mensaje del vino bien claro para aquellas personas que se estaban metiendo en el mundo del vino y que querían despertar ese interés. ¿Cuál es el trabajo de un winemaker, de un enólogo?
I think it's to nurture it's to have a vision, first of all, of the kind of wine that one wants to make, and then how to fashion that through the work in selecting the vineyard site, the plants, the varietal, and fashioning that all the way through the process of making wine into that vision. Finally, that ends up in the glass of the consumer.
¿Cómo está hoy tu trabajo con el Cabernet Sauvignon para posicionarlo en esta visión a nivel mundial? Nuestro Cabernet Sauvignon argentino.
The Argentina, well, first of all, I want to say that the climate and the soils are so well suited here, and maybe one of the best regions of the world. And I'm particularly thinking about Mendoza now, but there are probably a couple of other areas where great Cabernet can be grown. I think Argentina will have a place as the third leading producer. It will one day achieve that, but we need now to work, and it's just a matter of time. I predict between 10 and 15 years, Argentina will be on the map very strongly with Cabernet Sauvignon.
¿Es el vino que a vos más te gusta disfrutar en un momento especial de tu vida?
Oh, obviamente is Malbec de Argentina. I love Torrentes, for example, as an aperitif, and but I love also the Chardonnays from Argentina, particularly from the Uco Valley, and well, I don't know where to. I mean, there's so many good ones. There's the Pinot Noirs in the south. I find very, very alluring, beautiful wines. So there's a whole, I don't even know where to begin. There's so many good ones.
De las etiquetas de Viña Cobos, ¿cuál es la que vos recomendarías a la gente que se está metiendo en el mundo del vino para que empiecen a probar?
Well, I think this is a good one. This is Bramare. Bramare means to yearn for, to have a great desire. It's an old Etruscan word. And this is a Malbec made from the Valle de Uco, 2011 vintage. But this is a great wine. It has very good acidity and bright, juicy fruit. So it's nice and smooth and clean and pure on the mouth.
Queridos amigos, yo me quedo acá con mi amigo Paul, Hobbs y Francisco disfrutando de este Bramare 2011 de Viña Cobos, de Valle de Uco. Bramare es la conjunción de tres palabras que quiere decir anhelo, aquello que anhelamos. Y aquello que anhelamos es esa visión que Paul nos hablaba recién, que termina este vino intenso, frutado, para disfrutar de un buen Malbec hoy a la noche en nuestras casas, ¿no? Salud.